being ostracized and stigmatized by a lot of people, my family, friends, fellow Marines. The thing is that they say, this is a gay issue. This is it only happens to homosexuals or gays or certain races, and I would, at that point, I would just pretty much take that all in, and it just started going up. And October 2009, after my life was spiraling out of control, I took my 9mm handgun and was going to end it completely. I was totally just done with it. I felt like I was a disease to myself, disease to my family, and to the world. So at that point, in that evening of 2009, I sat down beside my car, drinking, and I was just done, and I could not do anymore. I raised the handgun to my chest. At that last minute when I pulled the trigger, I slumped, and it went into my high abdomen, came out my spine, caused a T6 spinal cord injury, which left me partially paralyzed. So at that point in my life, I was in a medical-induced coma, lost 60% of my blood, died on the way to the hospital. After 3.5 weeks of being in the hospital and finally coming to, I was told that, you have a gift and you need to do something with it. I didn't understand at that point when people were telling me it was a gift. I was thinking, how was it a gift that I just totally disabled myself for the rest of my life? And so after months of thinking about how it was such a gift, I realized something clicked to me, and I was like, you know what, this is a gift. My life was spared, and I need to do something with it. So I started getting into advocacy. So I started traveling around to different military installations, doing sports and stuff like that, trying to encourage people that look at my life and how it's been and so forth to more or less bring up, their spirits. It was probably about 2010, 2011 when I first got into advocacy with speaking about my sexual assault. So I started traveling around to groups and, again, talking about my sexual assault, my ordeal, trying to prevent others going through it. In 2014, I was given the opportunity to testify before the Senate Armed Services Committee on sexual assault and the effects of suicide. During that whole ordeal, people, again, will come up to me and it's like, this only happens to certain races or gays. And at that point in my life, I said, you know what? I said, this doesn't happen. It's not gender-based. It's not sexual orientation-based. It's a human rights issue, is what it is. So after I started getting in and doing, being ostracized by fellow Marines and family was the biggest hurt in my life, because I expected those type of people to be there, and they weren't. They decided to just more or less put me down and ostracize me and stigmatize me even more. When I decided to give up, I have 3 daughters, all teenage daughters. So I realized that I couldn't give up for myself, and most importantly, I couldn't give up for them. They've been the backbone of my advocacy. They're always telling me how proud they are of me. If someone to this day stigmatizes me or says, nasty things, I have 3 teenage girls who tend to want to claw their eyes out. So, my whole purpose of doing the advocacy is to make people realize that even though that you have tragedy in your life, there is a way to make it triumph. I had a problem with resonating with the military again, and I realized it wasn't the military's fault. It was the justice system and the military that let me down. So again, I was not going to hold that against them. I was thinking, what can I do to make it better? Well, tell my personal story, put a personal face on it, put a personal touch on it. So what I tell the victim advocates and SARCs in the military is that the military believes that we are going to train our way out of it. We're not going to train our way out of it. The only way we're going to do it is lead our way out of it. And my biggest thing is bystander intervention, is that the quote that I give each and every person that I talk to is that bystander intervention to me is say something, do something, ask for help. That is my 3 words that, you know, my thing that I go to is that if you can do that and put that on in the victim's head, that, you know, asking for help is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It'll liberate you. It'll make you a better person. A lot of victims don't realize that they think their life's over. Well, at that point in my life, I did think my life was over, but it isn't. I'm here today, you know, doing things that I love doing, working with the military, trying to at least correct this problem. And the thing is that we have to have, we can't say that we're going to eradicate sexual assault from the military, because it's not going to completely happen. We have to have realistic goals of setting goals, and reachable goals is what I say, is that if you sit there and say you want to eradicate sexual assault, it's not going to happen. But if you put achievable goals to those things, we can make it happen. But again, we're going to have to lead ourselves out of it and not train ourselves out of it. Finishing up, you know, my life is a lot better, and you know, again, I live for my girls and myself, and that's the most important thing. But you know, if I could have like the military victim advocate stand up, please. You all standing up are the front line. You are the front line to helping victims of sexual assault in the military. And you need to hold the line. That is what I tell them all the time. Hold the line, make it happen. And, you know, we're going to achieve these goals of, you know, leading our way out of sexual assault and bringing those numbers down, and making more importantly, making victims that it happens to more comfortable to come forward and to seek help so they can get on with their lives and be productive members. Say something, do something, ask for help. Thanks again.